want to do the two or
yeah.
Let's go to two. Then we need to start getting some of those with not having so not throwing stuff immediately running away. Yes. So was really interesting watching that video.
Wow.
And one of the
I guess you might
show shots.
You get the helmet on.
Each of the shots he was throwing was a single shot.
Yep.
Right? So there may have been very little time between them.
Basically the same age.
Basically.
Yeah,
like I said, I don't know who it is I'm looking at when I'm going for a year sometimes. But I'm going in for
so when I go to throw, it's
paper
like
here in the next hopefully.
so I'm gonna throw, so right shield up. So it's like that's one shot, right? It's not
step up.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I've really
Did you see
really not been happy
yeah.
last while.
Right? And so combos can also be
Was it from this kind of thing or just
Three, 4 years of it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Right? So
A lot of wear and tear. I've never been really good on my body.
when you're putting
Yeah.
them together, when you start it, you start them with one thing, it's going to hurt twice.
It's hard to
So
respect your body.
hip motion.
I always found I healed. Right? You know, you recover fast quickly, you get back out, and you play through hurt. You work through hurt. I mean, I got out of university and wanted to pay off my wife's student loans, so I basically took a construction job in Calgary, and the boom hit.
Yeah.
So for 20 some odd years, I did nothing but build houses, right? And so time off, no.
Yeah.
I was bad about that.
I hear that. I just got out of that business.
Yeah. And then this, I've been, like I said, I've been doing this for 40 some odd years, so, and I love it. You know, when I put my helmet on, the pain goes away. I don't feel the pain, I don't think about it. And then after I take the helmet off, it's like, okay. Yeah, I guess tomorrow I'm not going to be moving as well as I used to. I don't recover the way I did when I was 24 or 29 or 40 even. Right? So like I got 2 events this weekend. We've got one, there's a tournament on Saturday. So then a belted tournament, so it means Carol could fight in it, I can't.
What do you mean unbelted?
Unbelted is basically white belts in the society are knights. Right, these are guys basically a gap. Who have shown physical, prowess on the field, but they also get all the other parts of it. Right? They understand that we're here because people believe. Right? So we take that seriously. There's a whole honor, the whole thing about chivalry. And both in the romantic sense of it, and also just in our daily lives. It's like, there's a responsibility to try to teach the lesson of history and try to be better people, better citizens, right? Sometimes we fail.
See, that was when I was questioning Baxter about this. That was my big question. I was like, well, do you guys, is it just like a fight club, or are you actually teaching you like meditation about why you're fighting? So for me, one of the big things with combat and like why I picked a Shaolin weapon, besides that it's flowing and beautiful, is I want to be a monk. Spirituality and my outlook. So when I do it, like I've switched from calling it my practice and my daily devotions. So I work through a lot, and I kind of adhere to like the flame and the void technique. So I am the flame, and then everything else around me is the void, and becomes the peace. And I put everything that comes up into that, and allows me to do my art. So that was one of the different ones that like the guy who I trained with camp for a long time, got me on the weapons training originally. He was the one who was fully into the society, well, at least where he came from, behind like, again, you're more than just play fighting. It's like for him it was big his ancestry. So yeah, it's nice to see that you guys are fully faceted.
You will find people that are basically just weekend warriors. I mean, they'll come out, they'll put their armor on, they'll play the game, right? And then when they're done, they'll just basically crack open one, sit on their tailgate or in their encampment or whatever. And for them, they're happy. Right, that's their aspect of the game, right? But again, you're going to find people that are more and more devoted to different aspects and different parts of it. They have passions for it. There's some that go off and they're really just into the martial arts, into the actual physicality of it, the win or loss kind of thing. And then you're also going to run into people, myself, others, right, who also look at the idea of, what is the warrior's place in society? Who are we? We're not war makers. Right, but we're there with the responsibility that if war happens, we're the ones that will step in to champion those that can't, right? To be the voice for the voiceless, to be the arm of the, you know, those that can't defend themselves, right? And that's the idea, right? That's what I try to teach. And I still like to drink coffee. So, I mean, that's why I love Colin so much too, because he really got it. He understood the physicality of it and the joy of it. But he also took seriously the idea of service, the idea of teaching, the idea of sharing. You know.
Head up here. This shot is a head shot, so you want to hit head.
I mean, after 60 years, I'm still, you know, I'm 60 years old, I'm still wanting to do this. It's like, and then there's so much else too. I mean, it's all about, you know, the arts and sciences. It's about the ideals of why cultures are the way they are, how they grew, how they merged together, how they shared with each other, how they took from each other. Right? I mean, that's one thing about the human race. You know, we are just one race. You know, and we borrow so much from each other. You know, we're all just a bunch of mongrels that sort of get along. And even this, I mean, this is a very judicial form because we're still using rules, right? You know, you're still only allowed to target certain areas. You're allowed to strike certain ways, right? You're not allowed to grapple, things like that. These are all rules that we have to play at. Is it realistic? If you're fighting around the walls of Jerusalem, probably not, right? But even they, you know, no matter which society, which culture you're talking about, they all have a virtualized form of their.
Every society had a warrior class.
They have a game, yeah, and every warrior class has a way of testing themselves, training themselves, teaching themselves. And for me, it's like, you know, however bad you feel, however grumpy or grudge you have, right, it doesn't come out onto the floor, right, with anybody. The person you were with on the floor, right, they were probably your best friend coming in, and they're going to be your best friend coming out, right? I like to say sometimes too, there's only one other thing I find that's as intimate as doing what we do, right? Because you're sharing so much. Right? And with somebody you really trust on the floor, it's amazing. You know, some of the dances I've watched, some of the fights I've watched, they're amazing to see because they know how to work within the guidelines, the experiment with what we're doing. It's not all about just getting out there and swinging. So.
Well, that sounds like a perfect segue for swinging a sword. It'd be alright if Alex wants to.
Yep.
Would you like to take some swings at me while I'm in armor? No? You don't want to try swinging it?
No.
Okay, that's a good offer.
Thank you though.
She's decided she wants to do the peace arts, not the martial arts.
Well, you could always just learn to shoot. Then you don't have to let that get anywhere close to you.
Yeah, I'm into that. That sounds great.
Archery is,
Well, until she starts to shoot people from a distance, that's the martial
that's
art.
fine. Yeah.
Well, you know, archery is essentially just the first guy or girl back in history went, I really want to stab that thing, but I don't want to go over there.
Yeah.
I wish I could stab that thing from over here.
I might
That
get,
sounds like more my style.
I might get sweaty and hurt. I'm just
Down
gonna
from
shoot you.
afar.
I'm gonna sit up in this tree.
Right.
Yeah, come on up. Hey, come on. Ah! So we used to,
Way better.
we had T-shirts years ago, and it had we had a group of archers that called themselves the Union, right? And on it, there's this, it's basically just a ring of arrows, so with all their points in, right? And then a target in the middle. And then on the outside, it just simply says, go ahead, run, just die tired. Right? So.
Pronate supinate. Just the wrist. Don't with the arm. Not really. Pronate supinate the wrist.
These gauntlets you guys are using, I guess, fully encasing leather. Is that a traditional thing that they use, or I thought it was gauntlets?
Again, the biggest problem is to make gauntlets legal, you have to be able to make sure your hands aren't going to get broken.
Yeah.
Alright, so in order to do that, you end up with hands that you can't get your fingers together, right? Which sucks when you're trying to do things. So some of us just sort of don't like basket hilts. For one, basket hilts, you don't find any examples of them until out of the time period I was talking about.
Yeah.
Right? But before that, so an open grip is difficult, because gauntlets are, I use gauntlets, like finger gauntlets and that for doing, spears and stuff like that, because it gives me a better control than a mitten gauntlet will.
Yeah.
And it also allows me to let go of the weapon and change and stuff, right? But for this work, what I tend to do is use the closed gauntlet. You can either do them in steel or you can do them in leather. I do them in leather because they breathe a little better.
Yeah, because that was definitely the strangest thing, because like everything I've always done is a lot of this,
Yeah.
and now it's just like really restricted.
Yep.
I find it very interesting.
It's really funny because if you look at 14th century gauntlets and the heavier gauntlets, they don't allow a lot of wrist movement, right? But again, they were using armor in such a way that, for the most part, the armor was your proof, right? Because I could take like with steel gauntlets, steel vambraces, steel elbows, and then chainmail, right? In a lot of ways, I wouldn't use a shield anymore because the arm has become the shield.
Yeah.
Right, so when, you would wrap yourself around a blade, grab it, pull it, these kind of things. And also when you were making your movements, you were tending to, everything was from here,
Yeah.
right? So I'd be making massive movements using the hip and using the sword, much like you were trying to do down there with the greatsword, right?
Yeah.
So the armor changes the way, you think about moving. I mean, one of the examples I like to talk about is, so, you're fighting in the Middle East, and all of a sudden out steps this, Sasanian who's wearing head-to-toe cataphractii armor. So cataphractii is basically body scales, chainmail. The only thing you can see are the eyes, right? Everything else is covered in metal, right? And he's standing there. What do? Run, because anything you've got is going. It's like the best way to analogy is an M1 Abrams just rolled out, and you have an AR-15.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Run, right? You're not going to win a contest, right? And it was the same thing with them. It's like, they could literally walk into a group of levies or your regular militia, right? And they were wearing basically tunics. They might have a shield, and they would have a knife like about that long. If they were lucky, most of the time they would have just a little short axe or something, a hand tool, right? That was good for using as a weapon. And they're facing a mounted knight, or a knight who's on foot.
Yeah, who's fully trained.
Your best thing to do is get out of there.
Yeah.
Right? Just like today, if you're facing a modern soldier, unless you've got some kind of advantage he doesn't know about, probably not a good idea to stick around. Right? I'm gonna turn that recorder off.
Use the plastic one normally, actually.
Okay.
You gonna go back out?